What's good? This is Trey, and in this video, I'm going to give some advice on picking up women. All right, I'm going to go through right. So on my journey of picking up women, when I made the conscious decision to get proactive when it comes to my dating life, one of the things I would do is whenever I would go out and meet women, I would write down different things that were helpful in picking up women, maybe different strategies, different tips, different methods, techniques, whatever that were helpful, during the time when I'm picking up women. So I still have these notes, right? So I'm gonna go through some of them and kind of, speak on these different tips and advice, and hopefully some of them will be relevant to your situation. You'll be able to apply it, right? So here's one of them. This one is basically the idea of being the observed, but not the observer, right? So when it comes to a party, a club, any event you're going to, the women in that environment, they're looking for the best man in the environment, right? They're looking for the same way how we're looking for that hot girl, they're looking for that hot guy, right? And the hot guy is not the guy in the corner doubting himself. The hot guy is not the guy who is afraid to express himself. The hot guy is not the guy who is socially awkward or doesn't know what to say or do. The hot guy is the guy who's being observed, the guy who stands out in a good way, in a positive way. He has some value that is attractive or interesting or intriguing to the people in the environment. And there's different ways to create this, right? You can create this with your look, the way you look. That's one way to do it. You can have, if we're at a club or a party and a guy walks in 6'4", chiseled, you know what I mean? Like buff and chiseled, looks like a Greek god, and tatted up and all of that. Of course he's gonna stand out, right? So he's the observed, right? And he's doing it through his looks. That's one way to do it, right? Not everybody has that, so we gotta look at some other ways to do it. Status, right? So who are you in the environment? Are you somebody in the environment? You know what I mean? If we're at a party or a club, are you somebody who's known, somebody who has influence, somebody who has a lot of friends in the environment? Like basically somebody who has energy around him. You know what I mean? He's created a vibe where people want to be around him. People have a reason to be around him. It's not gonna be like, oh, we gotta figure out something to talk about. It's like he's known, you know. Maybe he's maybe a local celebrity in some sense. He does something very well, and people know him for that. That's just one way to do it. Let's look at money. It no matter what anybody says, if somebody walks into an environment and he is known to have a lot of money, he will be observed. People will be aware of that person, and they will have an interest in talking to him just because of the fact he has a lot of money, right? So that's another way to do it. Now, let's talk about more so, let's take the looks, money, and status thing aside. I do believe that you should do the best you can in those areas, but let's put that aside for now. Look at some other ways to be the observed, right? Be a great communicator. You know what I mean? Be somebody who in the environment can contribute to conversations in a way where people feel good. You know what I mean? That's value. You know what I mean? That trait can create status. That trait can make you look good. That trait can bring money. Just being a very good communicator, or somebody who's very socially aware, socially savvy, socially calibrated. Not somebody who's going to create a negative feeling in the environment. Somebody who will bring positive feelings to the environment. Doesn't mean you have to be super talkative. That's not what that means. It just means you know who you are, you know your character in the movie of your life, and you play that character, right? And you're playing a character that is likable. You don't want to be somebody who violates the environment. You know what I mean? Somebody who makes people feel bad or feel weird or feel awkward. Like, you want people to feel good. You want to become the kind of guy that knows how to make people feel good, men and women. How you make people feel good? Make them feel like they have value. Make them feel like they're somebody. Make them feel like you're listening to them. Make them feel like they are appreciated. Make them feel the emotions they want to feel. People want to be happy. People want to be joyful. People want to laugh. People want to have a range of emotions. They don't just want one emotion. They want somebody who can create different emotions in the environment. And there's different ways to do that. You can be funny. You can be the funny guy. You can be the guy who knows how to bring people together. You can be the guy who just makes people feel safe. You know what I mean? There's different roles you can play. But the point is, you want to be somebody in the environment somehow, some way. You want to create that. You do not want to be a nobody. You do not want to be a bystander, an extra. You want to be the observed, right? When it comes to picking up women, when you're already observed, it makes the game a lot easier. When you're already known for some reason, when you're already pre-selected in the environment, meaning women are already interested in you for some reason or another, it makes it easier for other women to be interested. You know what I mean? All right, let's move on to the next one. The next one is the idea of being willing to, and I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm just gonna go over a few. But being willing to, when you're interacting with a woman, like, you don't want to be resisting rejection. You don't want to be resisting her communication. You don't want to be resisting her emotions. You don't want to be resisting anything, honestly. You want to be fully accepting of what's going to happen. You want to, be present to the moment. Be okay with the interaction going very well, but also being okay with the interaction ending in a bad way, right? Because the fun, what makes an interaction fun and interesting is just being just being accepting of anything that could happen. It's kind of like being detached from an outcome. Not really, when you approach a woman, you talk to a woman, when you really are set on this idea that you have to get her number or you have to pick her up, it creates resistance to anything other than that, right? So if maybe she is willing to be picked up, or maybe she is interested, but if she feels like you are too attached or you are too concerned with her validation or with her approval, this signals to her that something is off. Like, why? It signals to her that possibly maybe you don't have the value that she might think you have, because if you had that value, you'd more than likely have some options in life when it comes to women, and she, like I said, women are looking for that winner in the environment. They're looking for the best man they can get. So she's actually looking to weed you out. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not the best man in the environment, then it's on to the next. And it's not like a bad thing. That just makes sense logically. Like, she should go for the best man in the environment. You know what I mean? Just like we want the best woman we can get in the environment, she wants the best man she can get in the environment. So you have to demonstrate you're the best man in the environment. The best man in the environment would be the man who is more than likely already in abundance, meaning he's not there trying to pick up any women. He probably is going to pick up women because he's just that guy, but he's not necessarily there for that. He's just there to spread spread good vibes, to give value, to make people feel good, to have a good time. And whatever, the women he gets out of the situation is more so like a byproduct, or a like icing on the cake. You know what I mean? It's not the goal, it's just something that comes with the goal. So yeah, so being basically, not resisting rejection, not being attached to the outcome where you can't enjoy, you know what I mean? Enjoy the interactions. Let's look at another one. The idea of, a lot of guys, when they go to like clubs and parties and bars, obviously their main focus is getting women, right? Because they're interested in women, so that's their goal, to get women. But what they don't realize is, if you really want to get women, you got to also be able to like befriend men in the environment too. Like you don't just want to be that guy that's just focused on women, because it's just obvious, like you're just gonna look thirsty if the only thing you care about is talking to women. You know what I mean? And I mean, I've experimented with this. I've experimented with going out with the intention of just having a good time with everyone versus going out and having a good time with just women. And what I've noticed is, one of the best nights I ever had going out was when I decided to go out with the intention of just having a good time with everyone, because I used to watch what they would call naturals. So basically guys who are naturally good with women, and I would watch them, and I noticed that one of the things they do is they just spread good vibes with everyone. It's not just about the woman. Like yes, they do go and approach women and